January 11, 2026, the heart of winter, a date that now feels etched in ice for the people of Kyiv. Kyiv is locked in a brutal winter, colder and darker than any in recent memory. The city's familiar streets are transformed, blanketed in snow and silence, as if time itself has slowed under the weight of the cold. The temperature has plunged below -10 degrees Celsius, and the city is shrouded in darkness, streetlights out, radiators silent. The usual hum of city life has faded, replaced by an eerie, biting stillness. This is the fourth winter since Russia's full-scale invasion, and the cold is now a weapon of war. Each year, the winter seems to grow harsher, as if the conflict itself chills the air. The silence in Kyiv's vast residential districts is unnerving. Elevators are dead, water doesn't run, and concrete apartment blocks have become tombs of ice. The isolation is palpable, with neighbors rarely seen, huddled in their frigid homes. Every breath indoors is a visible plume, and sleep is a nightly battle against hypothermia. Families gather in single rooms, layering blankets and clothing, clinging to warmth wherever they can find it. Ukraine's energy infrastructure, battered by years of war, has been targeted again. On January 8th, a wave of drone and missile strikes plunged the city into crisis. The blackout is more than an inconvenience, it is a threat to survival. The attacks weren't aimed at military targets, but at the systems that keep people alive. Heating, water, and electricity, lifelines for millions, are now fragile, vulnerable to every new assault. The snow, once beautiful, now complicates every step for repair crews and residents alike. Each flake adds to the burden, making movement and recovery slower, more dangerous. For Kyivans, this winter is a siege, defined by darkness, cold, and a quiet resolve not to be frozen into submission. The city's spirit is tested daily, but hope flickers in every window where a candle burns. The city's beauty is now a grim backdrop to a daily struggle for survival. Snow softens the ruins, but cannot hide the scars of war, or the determination of those who remain. In Kyiv, winter is no longer a season to be enjoyed, but a test to be endured. A relentless challenge that demands courage, unity, and the will to see another spring. To truly grasp this winter's harsh reality, you have to look inside the homes where the cold is not just outside, but seeps into every corner of daily life. Here, the fight for warmth is deeply personal, a daily struggle that shapes every moment. Galina Turchin, 71, lives alone in a high-rise. Her world has shrunk to a freezing flat, one window patched with plastic after a drone strike shattered the glass, leaving her exposed to the bitter wind. The cold is relentless, clinging to every surface, turning her home into a place of constant discomfort. Without electricity, she cooks on a small gas camping stove, rationing every canister and stretching her supplies as far as they will go. Her wish is heartbreakingly simple. "We hope they will give us heat. If not power, then at least heat," she says, her breath visible in the frigid air. Galina's story is echoed by thousands of Kyiv's elderly, many of whom are unable to evacuate or have nowhere else to go. Even her cottage in another region offers no escape. There, it's -17 degrees, and the isolation is just as biting as the cold. She waits for the radiators to rumble back to life, for a flicker of light, for any sign that this ordeal might soon end. The psychological toll is immense. The cold frays nerves, the darkness amplifies fear, and the uncertainty weighs heavily on her mind. Every creak, every gust of wind against the patched window feels like a new threat, a reminder of how fragile safety has become. For Galina and so many others, this is a fight to maintain hope in the face of cold and darkness, to find light in the smallest moments. It's a testament to the quiet strength and resilience of a generation that has already endured so much hardship. Their greatest challenge now is not just surviving the winter, but holding on to hope, believing that warmth, light, and peace will return. Kyiv's blackout wasn't a technical failure, it was engineered. On January 8th, a barrage of Russian drones and missiles targeted power plants and heating facilities, aiming to terrorize civilians by plunging them into darkness and cold. The attacks hit a system already weakened by years of war. Each winter, engineers patched the grid, but the damage is cumulative. Spare parts are scarce, and the latest strikes caused a cascading failure, forcing a complete citywide shutdown to prevent total collapse. Without power, water pumps and heating systems fail. One strike can extinguish lights, stop water, and silence radiators for hundreds of thousands. This is winter weaponized a strategy to break civilian will by making life unbearable. It's a violation of the laws of war. But it continues. The darkness in Kyiv is not natural. It's a calculated act of aggression. Yet, time and again, Kyiv's residents refuse to be broken. Their resilience is a quiet act of defiance. In every blackout, the spirit of the city endures. Across Kyiv, over 1,000 apartment buildings are officially without heat. Survival means layers. Families huddle in thermal underwear, coats, hats, and gloves, often in a single sealed room. Windows are patched with plastic or tape, and boiling water on a camping stove becomes a communal event, offering fleeting warmth. Makeshift solutions, gas stoves, candles, bring risks of fire and carbon monoxide poisoning. Emergency services are stretched thin, balancing war's toll with new dangers from desperate coping. Neighbors check on each other, share resources, and offer encouragement in dark stairwells. This hardship has forged a powerful sense of community. The city's most potent defense isn't technology, it's the quiet determination to help one another through the cold. In Kyiv, resilience is measured in shared warmth and solidarity. While residents battle the cold, Kyiv's engineers fight a technical war to restore power, water, and heat. These unsung heroes work around the clock, braving freezing temperatures and the threat of further attacks. DTEC has deployed nearly 60 repair crews to tackle hundreds of outages, often working amid missile wreckage. Each restored connection is a small victory, bringing light and warmth back to homes. The crisis extends beyond Kyiv. Blackouts in Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk affect hundreds of thousands. Engineers must balance the fragile grid, rerouting power and implementing controlled blackouts to prevent collapse. Their fight is with wrenches and wires, driven by duty to their fellow citizens. Every minute counts. Every repair is a stand against the enemy's strategy. These workers are on the front line of a different kind of war, fighting to keep the heart of their nation beating. Beyond statistics, it's the voices of Kyiv's residents that reveal the true cost of this winter. Galina's plea for heat echoes the city's fundamental need, a simple comfort violently stripped away. People speak of exhaustion, anxiety, and the particular cruelty of this winter assault. Parents worry for their children. The elderly fear they won't survive the freeze. Alexander, climbing 12 flights of stairs, jokes about forced exercise, but his face betrays the daily grind. Even those abroad, like tennis player Marta Kostyuk, feel the chill. Her sister sleeps under 3 blankets. These stories bridge distance, turning headlines into human reality and galvanizing solidarity. Amid hardship, defiance persists. Anger, but not despair. Weariness, but not surrender. Faith in the army and utility workers, neighbors helping neighbors. These are the voices of Kyiv. Cold, tired, but unbroken, they refuse to be extinguished. Their spirit is the city's greatest strength. This is Kyiv's 4th winter of war, 1,118 days since the full-scale invasion began. The city, once bustling and vibrant, now braces itself for another season of uncertainty and hardship. Each season, the burden grows heavier. The initial shock has given way to a grinding war of attrition. The rhythm of daily life is now shaped by the constant threat of attack and the struggle to adapt. Russia's attacks on the energy grid have become a grim winter ritual, and the system is now at its most vulnerable. Every blackout is a reminder of how fragile normalcy has become. Stockpiles of critical equipment are depleted, and repair crews are stretched to their limits. Each repair is a race against time and weather, with fewer resources and mounting exhaustion. This is the winter experts feared, where the damage risks overwhelming the capacity to rebuild. The city's infrastructure, battered and worn, faces its toughest test yet. For Kyivans, hardship is more intense and prolonged. Blackouts last longer, restoration takes more time, and security is further eroded. Daily routines are upended, and survival becomes a collective effort. The psychological toll is immense. Hope is now tempered by the reality of endless conflict. Anxiety and fatigue settle in, yet the will to endure persists. The question is no longer, can we get through this winter? But, how many more like this? The uncertainty of the future weighs heavily on every household. Residents carry the weight of all the winters before, memories of attacks, grief, and the knowledge that the threat remains. Each year adds new scars, but also new stories of resilience. Their struggle is a marathon, not a sprint. Every step forward is hard-won, every day survived a quiet victory. Their continued defiance is a profound testament to their commitment to freedom and nation. In the heart of winter, Kyiv's spirit endures, undaunted, unbroken, and unbowed. In this engineered crisis, Kyiv and the Ukrainian government are mobilizing a massive response. Prime Minister Svyridenko assures the nation that heating is being restored, while emergency services prepare for a surge in cold-related emergencies. Thousands of invincibility points, heated shelters, offer warmth, light, and hope across the city. Mayor Klitschko urges those without heat to seek refuge with friends or family, a stark measure of the crisis's severity. Every action, from sourcing generators to clearing snow, is part of a unified effort to keep Kyiv safe and functioning. Despite the deep freeze, Kyiv is not defeated. The warmth of human solidarity, shared blankets, hot tea, and the resolve of engineers cannot be extinguished by missiles or blackouts. Hope for normalcy keeps residents going, fueling their determination to endure. This is not passive hope, but active defiance, a belief in their city, their country, and those fighting to restore what was lost. The winter is a crucible, but Kyiv's spirit endures. Residents have learned to find light in darkness and generate warmth when all else fails. Their story is not just one of suffering, but of strength and resistance. The city is cold, but its heart is warm, and its resolve unbreakable.